more opportunities presented for these teams here in the bottom 16, presented by Alienware and Toomey. Still a die time, especially for those on the lower end of the leaderboard match here. You know, Boundham United, that's obviously been a big talking point on the boys on the desk. They've got to improve now.
All right, I've got to ask a significant question. I was listening to the analyst desk and they were talking through stuff, and they were talking about a shoey, but then they also pointed out about light-up shoes. Can you even do a shoey with light-up shoes, or is that just like a terrible idea?
I would probably say it's a terrible idea to have the light-up shoes in the first place, but yes, you would be able to do the shoey out of it.
All right, see, I was kind of concerned about that. Well, I guess that makes sense. They have to be waterproof. Otherwise, bad things can happen to you. I mean, playing path, pretty simple. Nothing too crazy coming out here. You can see it's going to be Oath and FaZe landing pretty close to each other with Mill to Power, Mill to respectively. It's going to be 17 dropping into Pachinki. Nothing too crazy. This is going to be a calm start at least, but it feels like every single time, Xenox, we get a calm playing path like this, the circles just go haywire.
Oh, I'm expecting it now more than not expecting it. I wouldn't even be surprised. Maybe a nice cheeky Sosnovka Island finish could be on the cards for this match here. Of course, this is match 5 of 6, so one more to play after this. Time and games running out for teams that have been struggling here for bottom 16. And while that's not Sosnovka Island, pretty close, over Mill to Power away, and again, away from the center.
I'm giving Lippo due to the circle. You can see that it's going to be Star-Lord that has a little bit of a run right in front of what's going on, but Fury suddenly has Game Home running right into this, and they won it. Waikiki Mukau already down.
Yeah, and the full team's not there. Flood, Ronan now making their way over to this position, understanding they don't want to be the two-man duo. Now, obviously, Waikiki Mukau, he was knocked early, so therefore gets flushed out. But this is where they now commit Flood, Ronan to the cause, try and fight back, see if they can also maybe get some kill points onto Game Home. Inside, Peekaboo out from the window, easy kill onto Sylphie. McMoo in the garage as well, goes and falls to Flood. No real surprises there, and suddenly Fury, they bring the firepower, they bring the pain. Only 3007, and disgusting. Does at least get the knock on the Ronan. Might get the second one here. Has the Darcia for cover up close. Gets the flush onto Ronan's. Only 2 up for Fury. Despite Insight getting that kill, the damage has been done. Fury just down to 2 players. Disgusting. Now at a 1 versus 2.
Feels familiar. Disgusting all by himself yet again, trying to go for the playmaker. Looking through, he has to have an idea on how the defensive line is going to be set. Insight in that position. You always expect somebody to be playing from. Fury, though, doesn't have to push this too hard. They can be a little bit more patient with it, go for some of the sneaky angles with, just try to defend up. They know the fact that they probably have the numbers advantage leaning into it, and now all pressure is on Disgusting. Does he want to stay with it? Oh, Insight, good peek around the corner, take him down. So with this, we're going to see Game Home getting eliminated with just one more game, but hey, they're in 5th place, not too scary, but look at the points around them. Only really, 4 points separating all the way down to 9th?
Hit a tree earlier. Now they flipped the Darcia. Now they're not even inside of the circle. It's fine. I mean, they got 52 points. So this is not that much of a laughable matter for them. Like, this is a team that's literally going to finish top 3. They're not sweating this one bad result from a really good night. Flood gets 1, but immediately traded by Fate. Faultlessly knocked. This is where Dante and Fate need to make sure they stay up. But it's DraftKings who somehow finds an angle onto Fate. Unique need points. They need kills. Everything that they can get. They lose faultlessly, but at least got inside. And this is where Sonic's now versus TSM. A little bit of NA on NA. Mime catches both Purdy and Luke 12. First it was the nade, then it was the push. Only Penta remains in a 1 versus 2 against Mime and H-Win.
He's got a little bit of an angle that he plays. He knows where they're at. I mean, I think that looks like Sonics is thinking about going for Tiggleton, but that's going to be the angle that Penta is trying to defend up. He's going to go for the nade. Is it going to connect? Goes just a little bit too far. So with this, now Mime knows exactly where he is, and it's going to be on to Penta to figure out some way to defend this through. But, I mean, there's just going to be too many members that are going to be coming up against him now. The res should be coming off any given second. 17 Gaming does try to make the run into Genji's position, but do go down. Penta has a little bit of a defendable point that he can opt into playing from, but now it looks like it's going to be Mime that's running forward. I don't think he's going to go for a 1v1 in that position. That's just going to be a little bit too hazardous for it. AAP now finding a way inside the safe zone and do manage to get Pi Unique, but you can see a lot of these teams are coming in very tattered.
Yeah, and Cobra and Kaijin, they hear the commotion. Of course, they're going to bring their attention and position over here. But Sonic's now back up to 3. They get Tiggleton back up. That's big for them. They're going to need him to not only deal with Penta, but then Kaijin. This actually could end up being a massive result for Sonics, right? Penta now has to deal with a 1v4 behind him and a 1v3 in front of him. But then if Sonics are able to then take the fight with Kaishin, you would back them in every time. So this is where Sonics can go from almost being taken out of the game to picking up like 4 or 5 kills. Penta gets Cobra. That is just the kind of tournament that Kaishin have been having. Nothing being able to go their way. Big result for Penta. But this is where Sonics should push on this.
All right, can Penta manage to survive for a little bit longer and maybe force Sonics to make some type of play? He's praying the fact that they are going to lean in to knowing the fact that they want some kill points right now and maybe come into assist. He has a couple of little hidey holes that he can play from, but he knows it's going to be quite hazardous. E36 now on the move, pushing up, are going to come up right back behind this. Sonics have to be careful. If they're too caught up and too focused in on what's going on with the Kaishin TSM fight, they could suddenly find E36 popping up right back behind them at the worst moment. They are on the move right now, and Pure Boy could find an angle into this. TSM now still just trying to survive, but Sonics, are they aware? Is Tickleton going to have an idea, or are they just looking into the last member for TSM at this time? As Sonics does look like that's what they're caught up into, and Pure Boy has perfect vision into it.
Oh, what an absolutely weird scenario that has taken place over the last couple of 30 seconds or so. Like, Kaishin, why is Cobra going in by himself if the rest aren't even pushing? They literally have not pushed it at all. The rest of Kaishin are just watching this. Oh, clown car moment. Penta could have got one. Lantern does, and it's Tiggleton immediately eliminated. Penta understanding, now they're over to the right-hand side. Sonics, just weird decision-making here. Like, they could have pushed onto Penta, which then pushed onto Kaishin, got a bunch of kills, instead they clown car send it into Enterforce. Mime's gone, Sonics are gone, and they might just tumble down the leaderboard as well.
Now it's going to be on Jin G making the move into E36, hearing the firefight as it goes. Kaishin gets an idea on what's going on with all considered. We can see the fact that teams are starting to drop off as Unique gets eliminated as well. I mean, the North is just too crammed, too many people up there. E36 now having to contest up against G&G's position. Keep in mind, Oath does have oversight in this and is taking some long-range shots into it, and that's kind of one of the reasons it's stalling out a little bit. Esther should be able to get res. Sure is in a good spot for it, but the West is starting to calm down. The South has been calm for quite a while, but the North is just being a problem, and everybody's just trying to run through, and oh no! Ashura tried to save his teammate, tried to go for the run into it, but it's going to be Oath that is just supervising every bit of movement on this hill.
Yeah, and this is perfect for those teams in buildings. Your Ghiblis, your FaZes, your Boundam Uniteds. Maybe they're not getting the most amount of kills, but basically they're going to have an actual field. Honestly, have not necessarily been outstanding today, but they've been so much better than last week. So much more consistent, which has been really good to see for them. They were struggling immensely last week, but honestly, tonight they've been able to put on a better showing. They only took the spot of Ghibli, so they still do need to push forward like Ghibli did. Don't know where they really go. They'll play the trees, I guess. But an opportunity now for Oath actually presents itself here. And to force as they run down, all out in the open.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a pretty easy pickup, and you can see that E36 in a lot of trouble, and that might allow Oath to make their reposition because they wanted to clear all of this out so that way they have a much easier way to play this. Amino can't get any type of meds to go off to give him the capability to stay out there for just a little bit longer, so now it's going to be Oath making their move into the circle. It should be noted, TSM having themselves one hell of a day. Already 8-point lead over 17, and look at this. They've managed to find a way to sneak into the zone. They have 2 members back behind them, and the other 2 are already pretty good in safety positions right now, as the southwest is pretty much theirs, really. It's just going to be KPI that has to be a contender around this, but they have their own problems to contend with, as it's going to be Archangel Predator coming up right back behind them.
Yeah, and Elgin Bot's the solo here. He'll be a little bit annoying. This is big for KPI. They're in the bottom 3 at the moment. This has been a struggle here in the bottom 16. So much so, Capitan apparently has no idea where Elgin Bots was. He gets the double knock. And then DraftKing even gets eliminated by Aitzy. And FaZe will capitalize on this. They understand the scenario here that KPI are a bit wounded. Headshot maybe for Gustav. No, he had an opportunity. That circle right on top of Ghibli. FaZe as well with a good spot with it. We saw that leaderboard briefly, but the top teams in this lobby, they're all out basically this game except for FaZe. An opportunity, for the likes of Boundam United to maybe get away from that bottom end of the leaderboard, further also compounding the fact that Unique are now into 16th place with 1 game to go. Gustav knocked down by Uren for Kaishin Esports. They're still up north. They're not really in the circle, but they can actually impact this fight.
I mean, this angle that they've got to work with, they realize the fact that they need to get some kills, get some points, and it's going to be FaZe that provides the opportunity for it. KPI now looking into the angle and where Aitzy was trying to play from. Everybody's just trying to make these moves and counter moves around. See if maybe they can get a little bit of a control over the area. Oh, Kaishin sends it down. Luckily, the vehicle slams into a tree. Otherwise, that might have been a little bit of a problem for FaZe as they make their move. Here we go. Kaishin, now realizing where Ghibli's position at, says, okay, that's it. We're going to run it right down into this, prepping up nades, and they're just going to rain hellfire down as they go. Toss them out every single angle, just sending it right in. Capitan goes down, and they come in with full on fire. One of the members instantly goes down.
My God.
But in the end, it's going to be KPI. Yuppie gets a high ground point onto this, and now it's going to be FaZe just flanking around. They've got the shotguns, they've got the vision, and they polish it off.
Yeah, and this 1897 from there easily does the job onto Yuppie. I like the aggression, though, and the play from Kaijin. They at least secure a couple more points. They're actually in that logjam. That middle order of the pack here on the leaderboards are designed to play, so much better than the bottom 16 last week from them. Simon T goes down to the blue, at least a kill established there for Young B. This is where Bound M United need every single point. This is must-win kind of territory. Kickstart, nice shot onto Young B. Bound M United, despite having those compounds down to the south earlier, now struggling pushing out of those into this next circle. I think they are succumbing to the pressure.
Oh my God, that is a perfectly timed knock. I don't think that Oath realizes it, but the sight lines are going to be denied, and they could potentially get that res. It's pretty close with it. Balnam now still trying to make their way into this, realize the fact that it's going to be Oath that's just making a sin back behind them. Balefrost hoping the fact that he can find an angle. They're going to go ahead and pick up one of their members and run with it. Balefrost trying to get meds up, doesn't time it right. He goes down to the zone. So now, Balnam has an opportunity as the Southeast is going to become theirs. We're now in our top 4, and FaZe says, yeah, we know you wanted this Wizard Tower, but we're going to be making a play for it right now. We know the fact that you've got a controlled angle to play from, but keep in mind, while all this is going on, Gen G still has a member up to the north and somehow has survived through all of that mess.
Yeah, and Bound M as well, with their 3 players. Zest, oh no, you had to hit those shots on the Remba. And now FaZe know where they are as well. It might be 4th place for Bound M United. That might be on the cards. Zest did get a knock onto Ada though, but that's not the fight that is in front of them. That's FaZe Clan that's kind of pressuring them more so than Ghibli. Ghibli is just sitting in the Wizard Tower, probably more concerned about FaZe, who are attacking Bound M United. And as you mentioned, Inonix, of course, still alive. Godday's, well, he's done, and that means for Bound M United, they're down to 2 players.
It's a fight for flushes right now, as different people are just trying to keep an eye on where people are going down so that way they can make sure to get it. Inonix, I think you've got yourself a problem, but Ghibli has to be careful as they've got a problem of their own. And Nox at least gets a little bit of damage, but now Boundam making the push in, seeing if maybe they can continue the reign of chaos. It is presently a 3v3v2 with Boundam making the push in, all action hinging around the Wizard Tower.
It's been a perfect day for FaZe. The only thing that's missing to make it 100% perfect is a win. That's the only thing that they haven't had. A couple of 2nd place finishes, and overall they've been the best team today in the bottom 16 here for week 2, but can they secure that victory, that further good form going into weekly survival? Ghibli still have 3 players looking to just finishing off that solo play. No, actually, that's not a solo, although he might be soon with Young, but he knocked down. Never mind, they're both gone. 2-pronged attack from Fexx and Spear, FaZe and Ghibli. Down to our final 2 teams. FaZe looking for their first win today.
They've got so much control over the circle. They've got the center. They have claimed it. They already know exactly where Ghibli is. Ghibli, though, we've seen them have their own big moments right now, specifically off of Spear, and Rimba's been hitting some hell of shots right now. So he's got a cover point that he's trying to use, but I mean, FaZe just has a read on it. Every single time he goes for a peek, he's taking a ton of damage. So with this, Ghibli is now leaned up. Their backs against the blue zone. It's just a matter of time before everything starts to condense down. Maybe. Looks like they might be leaning into the south, saying, okay, we can use Spear. We can use maybe him a little bit of a distraction in the north. He's lined up against FuzzFace. But the south, FaZe just has on lockdown, and there's just nowhere for Ghibli to go. There's the tower that could provide a little bit of cover, but it's FaZe holding down every single angle into this. Every peak looks like it could be punished, and it looks like now it's going to be the commitment up around the side of this one. FuzzFace already got the angle, and an easy pick off on that. Headshot's going to connect. FaZe now making the run through. They've got the vision onto it, and Ghibli's trying to bounce from tree to tree, but there's just too many angles, and FaZe is going to clean up and finally get a win.
FaZe up. They've got the win that they were looking for. They had 2 second place finishes. They've been the best team all day. Then they get a win as well. 8 kills in the book for FaZe Clan. They've basically done it all now today, Matt. They'll have top spots secured as well. Heading into weekly survival, they are looking strong.
one more game, and I was talking about it beforehand. It felt like that come up moment back whenever we were in LA for PGC, and they just needed to have the biggest game possible. Well, they needed to have a big day today. It's not Sunday, but I guess maybe if they don't play on Sunday, it could be a FaZe Monday.
Yeah, look, it's pretty close, isn't it? And look, they've been really good. They've been solid. They needed the win. The desk mentioned about, getting that win, going into weekly survival. Well, you've got it. They've done it. They've got the victory. They've been able to basically play perfect tonight in terms of their kills. I mean, we're looking at 10 kills, 18 kills, 14 kills. Then you get a win plus the 8 kills. It just absolutely puts the cherry on what's been a lovely cake for FaZe.
I mean, Ghibli, they got into that position early, and they had strong favor